Back in 2006 I worked for Renfrewshire Council, and at that time we identified there was a need for project-based accommodation to house homeless, vulnerable people. At the same time we were in discussions with Williamsburg Housing Association, deliberating over a small-scale stock transfer which included housing round about this area. Once we'd spoken to Williamsburg and told them that the need we had at that particular time, they agreed to do a purpose-built building to accommodate vulnerable homeless people, and also to give us 7 flats on Paisley Road, which would also accommodate homeless people, and it would become one project. After that we then approached Blue Triangle Housing Association to see if they would be interested in providing the housing support and housing management service at this building and the building round the corner. Blue Triangle agreed to do that.
At the end of 2006 I was recruited to come and set up and manage this housing support project, and we took our first referrals at the beginning of February in 2007. We'd agreed with Renfrewshire Council to have a sort of phased stage of moving people in. We wanted to integrate into the local community. So the first day we only saw 2 service users arrive, same again in day 2. By the end of our first week we had 7 referrals move into the project, one of which was a family. So that was our first family at the service, and over the first few years we had a few families, young kids here, and it was lovely to see them moving on to tenancies with their parents. By the end of February 2007 we were actually full, as I say, with that phased return, so we were full, and the project then had 17 people living in the flats. The flats themselves were absolutely lovely. It was really nice to open your doors and welcome people into good quality accommodation. I was involved with Donna in the sort of furnishing and the setting up and making sure that the flats were fully self-contained, and absolutely anything that you need would have been here when you moved in to the accommodation. Over the course of 2007 I think we accommodated about 62 people at the project, and over 70% of them moved on to their own tenancy.
In 2010 procurement world had evolved, and we had to go to tender for all our homeless projects, including the one in Renfrew, and luckily Blue Triangle won the contract again. The same thing happened again in 2014, and again Blue Triangle retained the contract here. During that time needs and society changed, needs emerged, and the hours were increased with each contract. We also looked at changing the downstairs accommodation to give some more office space and some more community space for people to integrate better. And at that particular point in time we also introduced direct access, which was a big change for the Blue Triangle as an organisation, but they coped with that admirably. During that time as well, we also asked Blue Triangle if they would consider providing floating support out in the community to include resettlement type work, to make sure there was that consistency when the service users were leaving the service.
When we started in 2007 we only had 70 hours of support to offer the service users, but as Donna had said, people's needs changed, and things have got more sort of medium to higher needs within the service. We're seeing much more in lines of people with addiction problems in addition to mental health, etc. So we're now at the stage when we won the contract in 2014 where the support hours were increased to 140, which has made a great difference to the support the service users need and what they get. In addition to that, we're delivering the transitional support out in people's tenancies. So when somebody moves on from here, for the first 8 weeks they still have their support worker to go out into the tenancy and to work through any sort of teething problems or difficulties that anybody might have, which has been a great asset, and we've really saw that can help in terms of tenancy sustainment and just setting people up with the right skills. We've also adopted the Better Futures model within Blue Triangle, so we've been using that for quite a wee while now, and we've fully embraced it this year, where we look at that in line with our support planning, and it's an outcome tool where the service user can really look at what they have achieved, and they can sort of track the progress that they've made since they came into the project. So that's really been quite a great asset. It's just taken a wee bit of time for service users and staff to get used to, but I think working together we can really see how that's going to help people, and how their support planning is now very much, you know, about them, and it's all online, and we're moving with the times really.
It's now 2017, and as I said earlier, I worked for Renfrewshire Council for a number of years, and last year I actually started working with the Blue Triangle as an area manager, so you never actually know what the future holds.
I think from my point of view, all I would really want to say is that over the 10 years that I've been here as a manager, we've had a really good relationship with Renfrewshire Council. I think you can clearly see that they've invested into the service when you consider that the support when we won the contract in 2014 was increased to 140 hours, which is double what it was when we started in 2007. That's to take into account, you know, the increasing needs that people have that would be coming to the project. I would say now they're more on a kind of medium to a higher level, particularly around addiction and mental health. So we have these service users, and what we want to do for the future is really continue to see people moving on, and to continue to be able to win tenders within the Renfrewshire area and do the good work that we are doing. We're sort of having that focus with doing the transitional support, that we don't just want to move people on, we want to be able to give them the tools to sustain their tenancy and to stay there and make a home for their future.